Steele coming out of hiding or wherever he's at, and this dialogue that's now being leaked to various groups for examination. And I just read a note on one site where someone cited my earlier statements about Stephen and Amy running up and down the highway trying to sell various items in the U-Haul. And apparently it's been mentioned that Amy has now accused Stephen, or said he cooperated in the pawning of several items from said truck. The smallest statement sometimes will verify the truth. This is what I said. If you remember and you look at all of the previous videos, every time I'm accused of this thievery, I cite the fact that they were trying to sell these items up and down the highway. They went to Salado, they went up toward the corners of 35 East and West, they went down as far as Austin, and to my knowledge, the most they ever got was about $250 total for everything that they got out of that truck. This leads us to several things. No matter what went in the truck down in Houston, what came out of the truck here before they turned it in? And with her citing, well, that doesn't look like all my stuff on the curb and everything. And I even admitted that since the items were put on the curb the night before the garbage pickup came about, there was a distinct possibility that the homeless came by. Houston is just a little like Killeen. You have a record amount of homeless in this town, veterans and people like that, and clothes, other items that are on the curb. They make regular rounds and they pick up items they may need to be homeless. So that could have possibly happened. But the main thing is, for all of her verification of the items and all this kind of stuff, she can't prove, nor does she know, how many of these items actually went into the shed and how many of these items actually came out. The only thing that can be said for sure is these fingerprints aren't on them. Okay? And as more of this comes out, number one, Stephen did not disappear. Apparently he was in a car wreck. He underwent some injuries. He got a settlement for his injuries. He's working now in a Home Depot. If you notice, she's slowly circling around, starting to blame him for all of her ills, and he's slowly circling around. Basically, his life seems to have leveled out somewhat, and he wasn't with these brothers, which I totally understand. Stephen was a good guess. They did buy some meat for one cookout, a steak, and he cooked steaks, and they did buy that awful Modelo beer that Amy does drink, okay? And if you noticed yesterday also, she mentioned something on one of her pages that I saw leaked over where I could see it, where she was talking about pharmaceutical marijuana, which she actually told me that that was the thing that kept her calmed down. And she asked me if I had a link up for some hydro, which is a highly refined type of marijuana, similar to hash, but not quite hash. These things really did happen. Also, she, in her denial of her mental condition, she has leaked at least 3 times that she has in fact been involuntarily detained pertaining to her mental condition. These things are all leaking out. The story is coming apart and being reinforced by like Stephen Steele. Johnny White just stays off camera. I think he's beginning to wise up, or he's beginning to come to his milk, or whatever. All of these things are coming out. I wasn't worried about any serious charges or anything like that because I knew, number one, I was innocent. And number two, even though it angered me that somebody would be that stupid, there's really, it's just nothing can be done. But these revelations about, I think she cited $100,000 that they pawned. Well, that was nowhere near that. It was $250. Okay, that's what they told me. And if they did so much work and they had so much money, I literally gave Stephen $40, 220s, so he could get her on a bus and go back to Houston to attend a hearing in a court. And you have heard, if you look at, I call it the black video on here, where I have her phone call sequence, and the last phone call is Stephen calling me, which started me and Amy's little argument. She went down there, everything blew up in her face, and he was imploring me to have Ted or me call and help get her out of the thing she was in. That's out of his own voice. You can hear it. You can hear it. Okay. That's all I have for right now. I'm just very excited about all this. I'm very, very glad that this is leaking out. And hopefully, see, Ted, Brother Theo told me something yesterday that I need to end one of these videos on a gentler note. Amy Sharon is mentally ill. She is paranoid. I'm not going to use the word schizophrenic because I have not seen that particular um, diagnosis. But she had the CPS cited Munchausen by proxy in relation to her daughter. There are delusions. There are a lot of delusions. It's like I said, do the statistics. Do the statistics. Okay? That's delusional. There is no massive Amy movement. She will never get her daughter back. She needs to take her medicine, put her nose to the grindstone. If she is a very uh, adept makeup artist, get back in the game, start making people up. If she has connections in Hollywood for reality series, go for it. Make your, if you're really a descendant of Mark Sharon, which I'll give you that. But if you are really a descendant of him, um, show that you got a few of his brain cells and pull yourself out of this. Everybody does. But as long as you're attacking, lying, narcissistic, delusional, and nobody's going to cooperate with you. And nobody's trying to hurt Amy Sharon. Nobody is beating her up in Starbucks. Nobody's raping her. No, God knows that anybody that could hold Amy Sharon down and have sex with her, I would not want to be in the county jail with that man.
Get your phone out of my face!